Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Applications for the third, probably not final, self-employment income support scheme are now open. So in this video, we're going to take a look at who is eligible, how to go about claiming your grants under this scheme, and how much you could possibly get, all coming up in this video. Hi everyone, I'm Martin Bamford, a chartered financial planner and informed choice, and today the applications for the self-employment income support scheme are open, the third round of grant funding under this particular scheme. So I wanted to take a closer look at eligibility, who can actually claim one of these grants, but also the process involved in making your grant application. So I know there's been a lot of questions on previous videos we've done about this, about who's eligible, whether eligibility looks the same as last time round, and also how to go about doing it. Where do you make your application? So I'm going to cover all of that in this video. Before I get into that detail though, please do press the subscribe button down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We talk about personal finance, investing, economics, and happiness as well, because at the end of the day, that's what money is designed to give us, happiness. So we talk about all those subjects here. Press that like button as well. And of course, if you have any questions or any comments about this video, leave a comment in the comment section down below. So let's start with eligibility for the self-employment income support scheme, because I know this one confuses quite a lot of people. There are various layers of eligibility that you have to meet in order to qualify for one of these grants. And the first, probably most important thing, and it may sound obvious as I say it, but you have to be self-employed. And that category, self-employment, means a self-employed individual or a member of a partnership. It excludes you if you are a shareholder, a director in a limited company. So while you may feel like you're a self-employed person if you own a limited company, if you're a shareholder director, you're not self-employed, you're technically actually an employee. And there are different forms of government support available for people in that situation. So if you're self-employed, or if you're in a partnership, then you pass the first layer of eligibility criteria. You can move on to the second layer. And that second layer of eligibility is that you must have been trading in 2 previous tax years. So 2018-19 tax year, and also the 2019-20 tax year, the one that finished on the 6th of April of this year. And in respect of that first tax year, the 2018-19 tax year, you must have submitted your self-assessment tax return no later than the 23rd of April 2020. So that's the second criteria the government's looking at to judge eligibility for this grant scheme, whether you were actually trading as a self-employed person or a member of the partnership in the 2 previous tax years. So if you can put a tick in that box, you can move on to the next stage, the next layer of eligibility. And the next layer of eligibility says that you must be currently trading but have experienced a reduced demand due to the impact of coronavirus, or temporarily had to stop trading because of the impact of coronavirus. So this grant scheme, this self-employment income support scheme, is to provide support because of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is not a grant scheme available if you're facing business difficulties for any other reason, or if you'd stopped trading for a different reason before the pandemic started. This is about looking at the direct impact of your trading conditions because of coronavirus, because of COVID-19, and whether you have experienced reduced demand during your current trading, or you've had to stop trading, you've had to temporarily give up trading because of coronavirus. So that's level number 3 when it comes to eligibility. If you can put a tick in that one, move on to level number 4. And level number 4 is all about a declaration you have to make. Firstly, to say that you have a belief you'll continue trading. So this is a temporary thing. This is not the end of the business for you, the end of the self-employment. And also that you believe that your profits, your income will be materially affected, significantly reduced by the impact of coronavirus. So again, you have to put a tick in those boxes as well. You have to be a viable self-employed business going forwards in the future. Otherwise, you're not able to make a grant application. And you also have to believe that your income in this period, this grant period, which we'll come on to talk about in just a second, will or has been reduced as a result of the pandemic. Now, HM Revenue and Customs use the term reasonable belief, and I'll read what they have to say about reasonable belief. They say, in order to claim, you must reasonably believe that you will suffer a significant reduction in trading profits due to reduced business activity, capacity or demand, or inability to trade due to coronavirus during the period 1st of November to 29th of January 2021. You must keep evidence that shows how your business has been impacted by coronavirus, resulting in less business activity than otherwise expected. So in order to make this claim, you have to have that reasonable belief that your trading activities are negatively impacted by COVID-19. And you've got to keep records as well. And the fact that HMRC are saying keep records, keep evidence, keep proof that you've experienced this downturn in business suggests to me that there will be a period of auditing taking place at some point in the future. So HMRC, the tax man, will come along and they will look at your records and make sure that you made a genuine grant application at this time, that you have records that prove that reduced demand for your services. So what sort of things could you keep as a record of reduced demand? If you've had a letter from a client saying they no longer can afford to pay you because of a pandemic, that would to me be pretty solid evidence that you could show you have reduced profits during this period. But any sort of documentary evidence, any paperwork you can keep, please do keep a record of that in case HMRC come knocking and asking to see your proof of why you made this claim. And then the other term they use is significant reduction. And again, I'll read from the HMRC guidance here. They say, before you make a claim, you must decide if the impact on your business will cause a significant reduction in your trading profits for the tax year you report them in. They go on to say that HMRC cannot make that judgment, that decision on your behalf. Only you can decide whether the reduction in your profits is significant. So this is really on your shoulders to work out if it is a significant reduction. But they do warn you that you should wait until you know for sure that you've got a reasonable belief, to go back to their earlier term, that your trading profits are going to be significantly reduced before making your claim. So please wait before submitting your claim to be reasonably sure, have a reasonable belief that your trading profits will be significantly reduced. Those seem to be the two sort of measures, the two definitions that HMRC is really focusing on in that final layer of eligibility. And then there are some technical eligibility criteria as well. So HMRC is going to look back at your 2018 to 2019 self-assessment tax return, that one that had to be in by the 23rd of April 2020. They are going to look at your trading profits, and if your trading profits are more than £50,000 in that period, sadly you're not eligible to apply for this grant. So this is only for self-employed people or for partners in a partnership who have trading profits of less than £50,000 in the 2018-19 tax year, as recorded in that self-assessment you submitted by the 23rd of April 2020. If you're not eligible for this grant based on your 2018-2019 self-assessment return, they will then look back and they will average the tax years 2016-17, 2017-18 and 2018-19. So those three tax years get averaged and they look and see whether for the three you're above that £50,000 threshold. So do that work for yourself first before submitting your grant application. Look back at your tax return, look at your trading profits figure, and if that is above £50,000, look back at your three previous tax returns and average out the total amount of trading profits. See if you're eligible, if you're under £50,000 on average for those three tax years. But that's really important. HMRC will not be paying grants out to people who have earned over £50,000 in trading profits in the previous tax year or in the previous three tax years on average. And then in terms of how much you can claim for this self-employment income support scheme grant, HMRC have given us a worked example here. So this is very helpful to work out what your maximum claim can be. So in this example of how much grant you'll get if your average trading profits were £42,000 a year over the last three tax years, and they say if you're eligible, you receive a grant worth 80% paid out in a single instalment covering 3 months worth of those profits, but capped at £7,500 in total. So here's the calculation they're going to do. You start with your average trading profit, which is £42,000 a year. Divide that by 12, which gives us the monthly average trading profit, £3,500 a month. And then multiply that by 3 to get to £10,500. So in 3 months, on average, that would have been your trading profit based on £42,000 a year. And then you work out 80% of £10,500, which is £8,400. However, there is a cap in place, as we mentioned, £7,000 as a cap. So whilst you had an average trading profit at 80% of £8,400, you can only claim for that period £7,500. And then in terms of the logistics for claiming this grant as a self-employed person, so remember this one covers the period from the 1st of November through to the end of January. This time it's the third instalment, the third grant scheme. There will be a fourth one for the period from February through to April, end of April, but this one is the third instalment. You have to make your claim on or before the 29th of January 2021, so that's your deadline. And the reason you've got some time on your side for this one is really down to the fact that you have to wait until you have that reasonable belief of a significant reduction in your trading profits. So for some self-employed people, some partners, it could be too soon right now to make a grant application. You may have to wait for a month or so until you see how your trading situation pans out over the Christmas and New Year period. But you do have right up until the end of January, 29th of January at least, to make that claim. Please don't leave it to the last minute, just in case it doesn't go through simply, just in case there is a computer problem at the time. Do it as early as you're able to, but as early as you have that reasonable belief that there's going to be a significant reduction in your trading profits. So let's assume that you meet those eligibility criteria, you have your reasonable belief that there's going to be a significant reduction, and it's time to make the grant application. I'll put a link in the description below to show you where to go to make that grant application directly to the government website. And you need to have to hand a number of different items. The first is your self-assessment unique taxpayer reference, or your UTR, and if you've lost track of that for any reason, you can recover it via the government gateway service, so you can ask them to remind you what it is, but you should have a note of that. It's the reference number that goes on your self-assessment tax return request, reminders, so if you have correspondence from HMRC, that UTR should be present. You'll also need your national insurance number, and of course all of us know our national insurance numbers off by heart. I don't know mine off by heart, I have it written down somewhere, but the thing we got given on that lovely plastic card when we were 16 or so, you need to know your NI number. You need to have your bank account details, and it needs to be a UK bank account to receive this grant. So account number, sort code, name on the account, and also the address of that account too. And HMRC warns here that you must make this claim yourself. So if you work with an accountant or a tax agent, don't ask them to make the claim on your behalf, because apparently that can trigger a fraud alert and it can delay the whole process and cause real issues. So make the claim on your behalf. Obviously speak to your accountant if you're unsure about any of the information or the calculation around how much you can claim, but don't ask them to do the actual application on your behalf. Do that for yourself. And then once you've made this grant application, HMRC will look at all of the details you've provided to them, and within 6 working days they will both assess and then pay your grant if you're successful. If you haven't heard from them for at least 10 working days, then you can chase them up, but they ask people not to chase them until at least 10 working days have passed since making the grant application. So that, in a nutshell, is how to go about claiming your grant for the third and not the final self-employment income support scheme from HMRC. If you have questions, please do post them in the comments down below. Press that subscribe button, please do press like as well. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm, which means our videos get seen by more people, and I'm working very hard at the moment to grow the following on this channel to hopefully get us well over 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So every little helps with that. Please do press like, press subscribe, leave a comment, even if it's just to say hello, and I'll say hello back. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Until next time, I'm Martin Bamford, and when it comes to your money, the more you know, the faster it can grow.